Hey kids, Mark Miller here. How's everybody doing? Rory, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thaddeus is incorrect. We're going to change that in a little bit. That should be Fred. I don't have the ability to animate Fred right now, and I think that's because Thaddeus is there and Fred's not. 2 points of note here, I guess. Number one, look at my GPU. It's up here at 99%.
Yeah.
I think Roy was talking before. He says, hey, is there a reason why my quality might be really low? The stream quality is high, but the Skype quality is low. I was thinking, let's try this right now. If I drop these down to 5 frames per second for all of these, let's see what the impact is on GPU. Earlier, before we started, my GPU dropped pretty substantially when I did this, but I wasn't streaming. Now that I'm streaming, Surly Dove says, not my fault, by the way. Now that I'm streaming, not sure why we haven't seen did Surly come in under the radar? Is that why? Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did the under the radar bit.
Okay. Anyway, before I started streaming, dropping these down to 5 frames per second, cut this like down to 43%, something pretty low. Not the case right now.
I remember leaving you yesterday, and you were postulating that perhaps my own connection was going to cause the GPU to drop a little bit when I left. And as far as I could tell, it went up. As I was looking at the stream afterwards, it seemed to have quite the reverse effect, albeit ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So don't know.
Yeah, I'm sending my I'm sending my NDI signal. I think this is a piece of concern right here. This piece right here is something that I want to be focused on and working on, either by changing the software, so the software is more hyper vigilant about not using the GPU when it doesn't need to. Because right now we're not really doing much. We're updating the clock, we're spinning some coins. So anyway, point of note number one is my GPU is up higher than I think it should be, especially with this low frame rate. Now, part of that I can't control because it's OBS, and OBS is, it's doing a lot of GPU stuff. It's taking on my green screen. It's combining all these different layers, sending stuff out. Speaking of which, I downloaded a piece of software called vMix. It's not on this machine. It's on the other machine. And I think we're going to take a step in that direction, try it out. I think it's going to lead to higher quality audio than what Skype provides. Skype has this thing that it does that if 2 people are jumping in at the same time and talking, it will pick one and essentially mute the other. You won't hear the other players, And so if you're talking, you won't hear anybody else talking. Right?
And it makes a conversation tricky because normally you can pick up on the subtle clues that somebody else is giving, even if it's just over audio, that they're maybe going to speak next, and then you sort of back off. But with that overlap, when it does kick in, you don't get those cues, and you can go on forever and not necessarily know the other one's speaking.
Surly Dove says, going for a low-key approach now, since some streamers said I was rather active in some rooms. Stream seems smoother now. He also said, or room upon room upon room upon room, as one said. Yeah, that really spoils Dragon Humpers. When you say really, what are we talking about, Surly Dev? We talking about the GPU? Maybe that's what we're talking about?
Maybe.
because I feel like we're kind of getting a handle on that for the Dragon Humper show. We're able to just get push out the things that we want to get out. Skype cutting out the other speakers. Yes, I'm 100% with you on that. And so if we can solve that, by the way, you know what the clue is? So Autism Boy over here figured out what that non-verbal clue is that somebody wants to talk. It's the separation of the lips, right? And the wetness, it's like that or like that. It's a little click that somebody makes. And it's not, and most people I think don't acknowledge it. I didn't acknowledge it till this year when I was like figuring this all out. And I was like, whoa, that's what it is. That's how we know when somebody wants to talk, right? So sometimes if I want to say something, I'll be like, try to get that out there a lot, right? To get people, let people know, because that's not weird.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Also, you can get it with a sharp intake of breath as they get ready to expel during the course of talking.
Like that. Yeah. Shirley Deb says, oh yeah, so obvious now. Smack. Yeah, smacks his lips. That's it. That's the sound, right? It's a little click. And in a room, right, you can hear that click. And often somebody will be talking, they'll be thinking the words to say, somebody will click and they'll stop talking and they'll look and turn to the person who clicked, right? Shirley Deb, wait, Blazer, Mr. Magoo says, hey, I've not been here in a while. Hope you're all good. Blazer, glad you're here. Let's get Blazer some super music if we can. Like here, let's get some inspirational music for Blazer. Let's see what we got. It's from our new music player for the Dragon Humper show. Blazer, by the way, I don't know if you're out, if you followed us out there, go give us a follow out there at twitch.tv/Dragon Humpers. If you, if you're not out in Europe, if you're in Europe, man, that's tough because we started about 2 a.m. your time, 2 or 3 a.m. your time.
Yeah. I've tried and I've passed out before that starts. It's not easy to hang around.
Do you know that Shirley Deb has seen, I think, almost every single Dragon Humpers? He's waking up at 3 a.m. And we had to cancel last Sunday's show, and I sent a tweet out, and all I was thinking about was, oh God, I hope Shirley Deb doesn't wake up with his alarm at 3 a.m. to find us not there. I haven't seen them all at that time. Okay. Karen, by the way, my wife is producing a second show, the all-female Dungeons and Dragons crew, including the Dungeon Master, who's amazing, as I've said before, really, really impressed with her work. And the cool thing about that one, Rory, is there's a Saturday show in that.
Oh, yeah.
That is scheduled for afternoons our time, which is like evenings your time. So it's a way more manageable show.
Cool.
And that group is pretty good. They're doing really well. So point of note number one. Is that music too loud for you, buddy? By the way,
it's not bad.
Right. I'll hit the low button. Okay. Feels like it didn't really change. I'm going to drop it down, the volume down just a little bit in my ears and in yours. I have individual volume controls for Roy and I. That's how professional I am here on this show.
Oh, yes.
So the GPU, I'm a little worried about that. That's something I'm going to be watching.
It does make you ask the question, given that we're sat here doing not a huge amount, what is it doing?
Right.
What's it spending all this resource on?
Yeah. The thing that, I'll tell you, I think a good part of it is streaming. Because when I was not streaming and I went from here, here, and here, down to here, here, and here. And here's the thing that was really crazy. If I was here, if I was here, it was still at 99. But as soon as I made all of them at 5, it was like, I'm going to chill out now.
Actually, here's a question. Given your exact setup right now, the things that are on the screen, how many of them have variable frame rates? Because the coins don't, do they?
No, they don't. The coins do not.
And
so I would have to turn off the drone game.
And Fred.
If I turn off the drone game, do I want to do that? Is there any consequences to doing that? I don't think so. I'm going to turn it off. Let's see what happens to the GPU. GPU drops. GPU dropped by 10%, about. Went from 99 to 90.
Yeah. So
the drone game could be a candidate for adding this ability to control frame rates. Right, the drone game isn't something we do during the Dungeons and Dragons game, so it's not really
not a huge issue for that.
That's running. No, but now let's see what happens if we pop these up to 30. Does the GPU jump up? Yeah, look at that. It cranks up there and drops back down. So part of what you're seeing is the drone game. So I think part of what's going on here is we might be chewing at as fast of a rate as we can in the code. That's my theory on this. And so, maybe let's take a look at that. Speaking of the drone game, let's enable it again so we can see it. We'll turn it back on.
Surly's in the chat room going, there are consequences to turning the drone game off.
Sorry.
He might be speaking about his own sanity there, for sure.
Sorry. I'm going to go crazy as long as, and I think Fred's going to go crazy too until we get till we get his name corrected. So let's fix that. Come up here into the sheets. Come up here. We're going to say Fred is playing now. Turn off Thaddeus. By the way, actually, before we get rid of Thaddeus, let me show you a cool new rapier animation I've got in here for Thaddeus. Thaddeus has got a rapier. That's kind of cool. Oh, now nice. It'll look a lot better if I, crank the frame rate up to 30. There you go. So there you go. You can see that kind of going back and forth. Magical effects on this guy look really cool too. There's a glow for the back if it's magical, and then also its ability to have the end tip on fire. So there's fire coming off the front if that's an option. So somebody sets that up. Okay, so I want to go in here. I want to turn Fred on. Fred's coming back to us. We're going to say goodbye to Thaddeus like that. And we're going to work on... Oh, wait, there's one more thing I want to show you. Let's send this out. Players. There you go. And let's reload. Whoops. Not what I wanted to do, but it'll help. Anyway, I'll bring this thing up. Let's reload player data. And then that should turn to a Fred.
Willie Shaker. Fred.
And now Fred, does that help your animations, Fred? Or are you going to give me like a thumbs up? Fred gives me a thumbs up. Interesting. So we can't animate Fred unless he's here. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. We got dynamic throttling on here. And I'm going to drag that over to the other screen. Second thing I wanted to show you is take a look at the coins, Rory.
I was mentioning, I was thinking about the coins literally about 30 seconds ago going, they're all very nice and distributed and not synced up in any way at all.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it'll be before that happens.
No, yeah, there are two things we had to do. Now, still the frame rate is low. You can see it's like 10 frames a second, it looks to me about. The problem was, so remember we wrote like this line of code yesterday and we couldn't fix it? That was because we had...
The clever idea was to change the speed of the coins to a sort of a random offset, so that even if they synced up at some point, they'd change and they'd go out of sync again because they'd be spinning at different speeds.
Yeah, the problem was in another place. We're actually creating coins without referencing that guy. That's over in sprites.ts. Let me just bring that up a second, and I'll show you the code. What we had to do, here it is right here. This is what we had to do to fix it. Weird that the syntax highlighting is off. Let me just add just enter the line here and then undo it. So, whoops, there we go. So I added this line of code right here, which is very similar to the other line of code. This line is just called layout. And layout is called, so look, but notice this line of code right here, if char is equal to an asterisk, then we're adding a coin. Okay, it's a very special kind of thing. And so we add the coin. And so that just, the essence is we were adding a coin from another place. And here's where we were. Remember these calls right here? So outline surface game, no ads, no mark. So basically it doesn't, cover up any ads or mark or whatever like that. That function was passed in when we were creating coins. So it was like, I was like, wait a second, isn't there a second way we're creating coins? And I went in and looked at it, came in here, tab to next reference here, came over here, drilled into this. And then I saw that line of that bit of code, and I was like, all right, so that's how that works.
So you're passing a method by reference, essentially saying, don't use the standard mechanism, use this one over here.
Exactly.
And although you'd fixed one, it wasn't being used.
Exactly. So this comment here, what the heck is going on? Get back here one day to fix this CoinSync issue. Done it today. It's done. That's
is today.
Yeah, that day is today. Let's go find Gravity Games. Find that comment. Get rid of it. Come on. Gravity Games. I think it's with an S at the end of it. There it is right here. That one we can get rid of. Okay? Okay, and so now what's cool is even if these kind of line up, the chances are they will unline up after a little bit. And I apologize for the low frame rate on this. I'm gonna go after that. It doesn't help that it looks surly to have planted all these flowers over here behind me. Oh, here we go. They're fading just as I call them out. Let's clear the other nameplates here so we just have Fred up here like that. Yeah, so anyway, it's kind of cool. In fact, it's almost hypnotic. Like these two bees that are spinning together right up here, right? I'll find. Those. Yeah, now there's three together.
They've drifted apart again.
Yeah, there's kind of a little bit of these two should drift right here a little bit. We should see after time.
The two I'm staring at were in sync, but apparently have drifted since.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit hypnotic if you find yourself kind of going over there. Up, Surly's coming after us.
That's all right. We don't need a show. We're going to stare at some coins for 2 hours.
Surely's going to see. Let's see what we can do with the frame rate here. So, okay. Source tree is good. So we're going to say fixed spinning coin issue. Let's go ahead and check that code in. Fixed spinning coin sync issue with an embarrassing hack. Don't look. Okay. We looked professional for a second there when I said, let's check in some code. And it's not really that embarrassing, but it's that for some reason we had a sync problem that we shouldn't have had. So we need to go take a look at that.
That is the question, isn't it? What we sort of masked the problem at this stage. We're still not sure what the problem was and what's causing it, but we've got a way of hiding it. So Surly, I saw yesterday that you had the real Surly set up pretty quickly. My question to you is, are you planning to actually write a proper bot? And is that bot going to be capable of doing commands to its drone? And does that mean we're going to have a whole flying in formation set of Surly drones? Because that seems like a thing, right?
You want Surly drones?
I figure Surly could probably send commands at the right time through the chat window to a drone that has it fly in very complicated formations, despite him not being able to get the visual feedback until the delay of the stream catches up. Yeah, just a theory.
So yes, he says. I'm linking them and flying them in formation. Yeah, I made Mark choke then. Yeah, that's kind of happened. Okay, so I got to crank up. I got to find out my new bug that my bug up my butt is the GPU is a GPU.
It's the GPU. I thought you would say yes.
It's coming, warping in from another planet, kid. Right there. By the way, that's like a really professional intro right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I took Codebase Alpha's static image and turned it into a moving one. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one.
Skills from that, right?
It's not bad. Actually, all the skills are for Janiscu 7s. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in there. I've got 3D stuff. I've got forced faked 3D with 2D elements sliding up in front. In other words, his head is moving behind the mask a little bit, even though it's a static picture, right, to make it look and feel 3D.
And as Codebase Alpha says, pretty professional dancing too.
No, thank you. Yeah, I went to Mark Miller School of Dancing. I don't know if you know or not. I not only own the school, but I'm its only customer. And